smooth side down. Now, can you see that canvas texture on there a little bit versus the smooth? Right there. Now you're gonna get your bowl centered and just lightly mark. Just enough to see the size. If you want to, you could kind of leave it on there. And what I'm gonna do is trim it 1 inch bigger, approximately. These scraps are fresh, soft, nice clay. So we're gonna put these scraps right into your clay bag. Now, to seal this side, I'm going to use my smooth rib. You wanna watch, because if you don't clean it, see how I get the dried clay bits on there? And instead of smoothing it, that's gonna drag lines on there. So keep this clean and it'll work a lot better. Okay? And just enough to smooth out the texture. That's all you need. Now, if you have any little finger dents or marks like that, don't worry about it at this point. Not a huge deal. Okay? Now, I'm ready to drape this into my bowl, but it would get stuck to it. So here's what we're gonna do. Set this out of the way. You're gonna get your thin plastic bag. So it goes on top, right in the middle, just like that. Now I'm going to get my slab and place it right here in the middle. But here's the problem. You can kind of see my bowl there. If I just push down, I'm stretching the clay and I'm gonna make it get too thin. So how do I get this into the bottom of the bowl without stretching it? What I need to do is wrinkle it up. So I'm gonna get it in like 4 spots, curved in. Pull the plastic back. See how this is kind of making it smaller, right? Now, I can push it down in there, kind of from the edge. I'm gonna get all the way into the bottom. Gently, I don't want fingerprints, I just wanna feel like, yeah, I'm down there pretty much. Okay, that looks ugly though. So what do? This is where it depends on your bowl. If you have a very shallow plate-like bowl, you might not end up with as many wrinkles, okay? But here's how we take care of it. What I'm gonna do is, I'll just start with this one. I'm gonna make sure there's plastic against here. I don't want the plastic getting trapped. So like this. I want to start here next to it on the smooth part and use lots of surface area. I don't wanna poke finger marks. I'm working the clay against the walls of the bowl. I don't wanna pinch the clay thinner, but I'm kind of working in this until, do you see how it's coming in gradually? Little by little, my fingers are down below doing this. I'm working it in until I've got this little flap, just like so. There's still a little gap there right now, that's okay, but I'm just putting downward pressure like this. So now all of this is nice and smooth slab. So I've minimized the amount of wrinkles. And just work your way around and do that with these. If you end up with a lot of slab sticking up, it's okay to use your knife and trim the excess. Okay, we don't really want any clay sticking up above the rim of your bowl support. If you have a flange on your bowl, which is kind of like this part of it, then you just don't want the clay sticking out past this edge, so you can just do a rough trimming about here. Now, I'm almost ready to deal with these flaps. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I know that I don't have much of a gap here, so I'm ready for the next step. I'm gonna use my knife. I'm gonna make sure these are just skinny little flaps without air, and I'm gonna cut it off pretty close to the bowl. Okay, if you missed, get in there a little closer, just take a little more away. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna next use fingertips, pushing down and in towards itself, because there's still that tiny gap. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that, right there, tiny little gap. So I'm basically trying to like compress the clay in like this to sort of fill the gap. And then I'm gonna focus on just smoothing it out. Next, you want to come in with your serrated rib. Now, if you have a very small bowl, this might be trickier. See if you can get an angle in there. And what I want to do, and if all four are done, I can just kind of turn my bowl. That's the easiest way. But I'll just do a little section for now. I'm compressing and moving the whole inside of the bowl with special emphasis on where those flaps were. You can follow up with fingertips, you can follow up with this, or you can follow up with the red rubber rib. So you get your fingers in there, and you can start smoothing. Now you might end up with these little marks here and there. That's kind of okay. Our main goal is compression and wall thickness. That's really it. So you're gonna spend a good amount of time smoothing. The bottom and everywhere will fully match the contour of your bowl. You need to adjust it in there. You can move the plastic to slide the bowl around to keep it centered. And you're kind of ready when the whole inside looks kind of like this. It just looks like a single piece of clay. The rim might not be perfect. That's fine. Tomorrow we'll trim that. If the inside isn't perfect, that's okay too. We just want to even and smooth. We can make it nicer tomorrow when the clay is leather hard. Now when we're done for the day, you get a nice folded paper towel and drape it over top. Make sure it fully covers it and make sure it's 2 layers of paper, okay? We're gonna store them like this. The paper towel will block some evaporation, but not all of it. So the hope is tomorrow it's leather hard. And then from there on out, we'll cover it properly with plastic, okay?